Welcome to Up Close and in Focus, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes with production and marketing trailblazers of the music and film industry. Are you ready to be empowered and pursue your own passion?
Welcome to another episode of Up Close and in Focus with your boy, Kerry Douglas. I'm here with one of the most phenomenal singers that I know of and one of the best voices. Y'all give it up. Let's talk to my friend, my good buddy, Cedric Ballard. What's up, Ced?
What's going on, Kerry Douglas? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm real good. Just happy to have you on the show today.
I'm excited about being here with you. Number one, because we have so much history to talk about. So many things that I can recall when I first had my first experience in industry. You're the one who introduced me to real industry. I'm not talking about this local stuff where we go around singing at musicals. We're talking about working records, going to the radio stations, going around doing, promotional tours and this, that, and other. You don't know what kind of impact you made on me at such an early age. Man, I was a teenager.
Wow,
bro.
What year was that, man?
I started with you in 97. 97, man.
Oh, we've been here for a minute.
Long time.
Wow.
97. And of course, I was with a group called Damascus, a group of 4 guys. Of course, we were your second artist. Your first artist was E. Stewart and the Stewart Singers. And so we would all start traveling and moving around together, man.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, man. We left, I can remember back in the days, we left from Houston, drove all the way to the Carolinas,
Yes, sir.
drove in a van.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
with our CDs in the back.
That's right.
Selling CDs
That's right.
out of the back, man.
That's right.
And, back then, one of the most impressive things to me, man, the young Cedric.
Yeah. You're putting a lot of emphasis on young.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still young.
I know, but
Yeah.
but the young Cedric, man, do you know, I don't even know how to, identify your voice back then, because it was something that, it was awesome, man. It just overwhelmed me.
Yes, sir.
Your voice, back then. Now you're more stronger.
More mature and seasoned and
yeah,
been through a
mature.
lot.
But
Yes,
back
sir.
then, man, you had some unusual stuff going on with your voice, and it was excellent. So man, let's talk a little bit about this new single out right now, and the title of the EP that you have out is...
It's called Blessing Me.
The song is Bless Me.
Yes.
The EP.
EP is The Journey.
The Journey, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
It is an amazing record. I wrote the song Blessing Me at a moment in my life, man, that was my lowest.
Mm-hmm.
And God challenged me to write a song about Him blessing me when I didn't feel blessed. You feel me? And so it was a situation where I'm writing a song, and all while I'm writing the song, God is healing me from the inside out. And really, this song is for people who really have a negative mindset of where they are in life. That even in where you are, God is still blessing you, because it could be worse.
That's one thing that's true.
Yes, sir.
A lot of us don't understand that the number one blessing in life is waking up. Because once you wake up, you got another day to go at it.
That's right. That's right.
It's so ironic. You wrote the song "Blessing Me,"
Yes.
and you have an organization, a nonprofit organization called
Heal Movement.
Heal Movement, where you're blessing people.
That's right.
So explain to us what the Heal Movement is.
The Heal Movement is a nonprofit organization where we put a lot of emphasis on serving the homeless community. But the other tenets of the Heal Movement is spiritual, mental, and emotional hurt and trauma that we try to work with. And we believe God wants everybody healed. And I just believe that through touching people from the lens of loving people, through the love of Christ, they can then realize that they're valuable. Most people walk around, they're not touched, nobody talks to them, nobody communicates with them, especially those out in that homeless community. So when somebody acts like they care and they don't mind touching them, you'll be amazed the light that's shining on them. And I believe everybody deserves that.
Now, that's kind of what church and loving God and being a Christian, that's kind of like what we're supposed to do, right?
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
However, you know, and I know, and most of you know, that, sometimes we've become so much of a business in church that we've deviated somewhat from actually serving our communities that we actually reside in. We do a little something during Christmas, the holidays, maybe back to school, but nothing that directly impacts the community on a regular basis. So the Hill movement has come, man, to fill those voids. The Bible does say that the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. And I'm thinking it's 2025, man. I know we got a lot of folk who's helping this community, and realizing when I start touching people, they'll tell you, don't nobody come out and help us. Nobody reaches out to us. So the song, Blessing Me, along with our Hill movement, is really there to just really embrace those.
You know, I'm glad you said that. You say Blessing Me, that's now taken off on a national level.
Yes.
And then the Hill movement. So it's kind of like you on this side, you have this celebrity status, and on this side, you coming down. Are you actually there with the people, or you have a staff of people, or are you actually out there with the Hill movement and you're really dealing with the disenfranchised?
It's me and my wife.
Okay.
Because I couldn't do this without her. There's no way in the world I could do this without my wife, man. And so my wife, Kimberly, we started this 2 years ago, just an idea of cooking something to help the homeless during Thanksgiving, because we knew that they don't have the opportunity to go in somebody's house and sit down and have a family meal. So we said, before we eat, we're gonna go downtown Houston and serve the community. And we did that first year. Second year, we did it during Christmas and said, we're gonna give them food and toiletries. So toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff that we take for granted. They don't have that in the streets. So we gave that, some water, some, different things that they needed. And then next thing you know, it became something where it just blew up. Now we have a warehouse where we can house non-perishable items. We have places where we can cook home hot meals that we can serve to the communities. And it's not just focused on the downtown Houston area. Now we're servicing other parts of Houston.
Right.
So I'm telling you now, it is me. I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I don't have a problem with doing it.
Well, I tell you, man, God's gonna bless you because you're blessing the people, right. Which is good. So, who is Cedric Ballard? What do you do music-wise? I know you've been out here for many, many years. Your career is starting to really take off, and I know that you travel with some pastors and ministers. Right. Explain how that go.
Quite funny, because since I was a little kid, I've always worked in church. I mean, of course, you've had other secular jobs, but my main priority to me was, how can I help church grow, build? How can I help them structure? So from playing drums when I was 13 and 14 to then becoming a worship leader, choir director, and all that kind of stuff, it's been one step after another. And then, of course, right now, I do a lot of music consultations with different ministries around the country. And so I've been doing that. And honestly, every time I get to a point to where I really want to just say, I'm going to throw in the towel with that, I'm reminded about something you told me years ago. You said a lot, because one thing y'all know about Kerry Douglas, he's going to say a lot to you, and you got to learn how to take the meat from it and throw away the towel. So I've never got fully comfortable just doing church, because you always told me that my gift was to the world. I just, kind of compartmentalized it and kind of contextualized it straight to the church, because I grew up in the church. But Kerry Douglas almost had me being the R&B gospel artist. It wasn't Dietrich Haddon first, it was Cedric Ballard.
Cedric, you was
in the 90s.
What was that? Sleepless
nights, man.
Sleepless nights.
We were doing stuff like that.
Wow. Boy, I can tell you, if y'all could go find some of his early stuff, man.
That Damascus stuff is on Apple Music. Y'all can go to Apple Music right now, and it's on Apple Music. That stuff is on there. But I'm telling you, I realize every time I think my gift is strictly for the church and for the places that I just kind of, God allowed me to help, I remember that, man. So when I do records and stuff like that, I realize I'm doing it not because I so love industry. I love it because I know that my gift is blessing somebody out there that's listening to my message. So, I thank you for that, because honestly, man, I don't know where I would be when it comes to industry and even my music. I don't think I would have taken it as seriously if you hadn't pushed me back then.
Wow.
And I've never forgotten that, man.
All right, thanks. We'll be right back with Up Close and In Focus with Cedric Ballard, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into him in just a brief second here. We're back, Up Close and In Focus with Cedric Ballard. Now, I told you guys we're going to get a little deeper with Cedric. So Cedric, how do you feel? You've been doing this since the 90s, singing. And since the 90s in Houston, a lot of artists who was not moving, or did not have much success, now is having, and who have had success. Of course, you and Damascus, the group broke up back then. And so for some 20-something years, you've been singing in church. So how do you navigate, how does an artist navigate in a situation where things are just not lining up the way he wanted in his music ministry or his national music ministry? How do you operate in that level?
When Damascus was a group, a gospel group, but they were more than that. They were my brothers. So those guys were like real brothers to me. It was very traumatic, man, because they were like a safe space. Even though, we were out on the road quite a bit and doing promotional stuff and all that, they were people I was able to lean on. A couple of them were older than me, so they were like big brothers. When we broke up, it was like I'm out there, didn't really have anybody that I could basically consider a safe space that could pull me in when I need to be pulled in, which means a lot to somebody who's still discovering who they are.
Right. Since you moved, you got going so early in life.
Right.
You was young, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm still discovering this thing, and when you're in the industry, especially back then, the people, because we didn't have social media, when people got a chance to actually see you and meet you, that was a big thing for them. It ain't as big as like they used to, because now you can go on social media and see them all the time. But back then, seeing and touching the artists that you was listening to their music on the radio was a big deal. And I didn't necessarily know how to navigate that. So I got myself into some situations that I did not need to be in. And I didn't have my guys to really pull me in the way they used to. So it was a very traumatic experience, because I'm dealing with regular life in my family, but also this life as far as an artist. So I had to pull back a little bit. So you're right, man, that was a very hard time for me to have to pull back from industry and then go to something that I felt was a little safe, which was church ministry.
Ministry, right.
Right. So that's what made me really go headstrong into the church and helping churches grow and really building music departments and music ministries. Thank God I was able to do that at a high level, and still am, and I'm thankful for that. But my heart never left industry. And so because of that, man, I was in a position where I had to try to figure out, what do I do? So I'm looking at, people like James Fortune and some of the other Houston artists that at that moment, when I started doing it, they wouldn't even,
what is that? Gene Moore, you was out before Gene.
Yeah,
you was out before...
Gary Mays, I was out before them.
My guy, I love him right now.
Who was that?
Come on, light-skinned brother. I can't remember his name.
I can't.
Courtney.
Brian Courtney Wilson.
Man,
that's right.
His career is just really
Brian Courtney Wilson was a worship leader at Windsor Village United Methodist Church here in the city of Houston, Texas. And I'm telling you, man, I think about that stuff then. We laugh about it now. How he didn't even have a desire to do industry. He was just up there singing in the choir.
Wow.
And so my thing is, I'm watching these other ministry.
These singers, their career just took off, and they're going all over the country. And you've been doing this since the 90s, especially somebody like James Fortune.
Right.
And we were working with him.
Correct.
We all helped develop their careers.
Right.
So there was a detachment between you and I for some years, but we still was, we
were still brothers, but it wasn't a work relationship.
Right.
And so now the good thing is I was friends with James, friends with Brian, friends with some of the other guys that we just named. So it was never a, a jealousy thing. It was never that. It was just like, okay, God, are you done? Are you through with me at that level?
In that area, yeah, area. Because exactly. you started off before everybody.
Correct.
But what I've learned in this whole thing, the race is not given to the strongest.
That's right.
It's not.
It's not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong.
Right.
But the one who
endures the longest, man. And when I tell you that, it's because I can look at my life.
Yeah, man.
And I can look at all the people that I worked with and all the people that was in the industry that started with me. Yeah. And that's not even here anymore.
That's right.
And definitely haven't accumulated the success that I have.
Right.
And
correct.
I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best looking, but I am consistent.
That's right.
You understand? And I am blessed to do what we're doing.
I can say this to you. This is a quick Kerry Douglas story, and then we'll get back to the interview. I remember it was 1998. We were, I believe, in Cincinnati, Ohio for the GMWA. We were supposed, we were up and coming, record label. I'm talking about, we worldwide gospel, all this other stuff, up and coming record label. We were supposed to go into a lobby that was specific for independent record labels. Not Kerry Douglas. We go into that hall in Cincinnati, Ohio. Kerry picks a table right next to, what label was?
Probably one of the biggest.
Darryl Coley. Darryl Coley
one
was
of the,
on.
Interscope.
Interscope.
One of
he picked the table right next to Interscope. And now that's for all the major labels that had history of big number ones, and they got all the big artists and this, that, and other. Darryl Coley is sitting right here. Now, he's one of my idols. And of course, he's passed now, but I'm telling you, Darryl Coley was the guy at that moment. We sit at the table next to him. Security comes to us and says, "Who are y'all?" Well, I'm saying, shoot, at the time we were worldwide gospel. You know what I mean? He says, "Well, y'all not supposed to be here, but let me find out where y'all supposed to be." Kerry comes in, because of course he brings us in there. We always get thrown to the wolves first. Then Kerry comes in, he tells the guy something. I don't know what he says to him, but we start setting our stuff up. So we're setting our stuff up and we getting the same attention at our table that Interscope and some of these other major record labels in that time was getting. Nobody but Kerry Douglas can do that. And he's doing that 30, 40 years later, man. So to see you saying, you're consistent, they don't know that you've been doing this since the 90s.
Right.
You've been pushing your way in the industry, going in places that other folk thought you did not qualify for.
Yeah, it's when God has, like I always say, the vision, and He gives you provision in that vision.
That's right.
And sometimes there'll be doors that you don't think are for you, but if you don't go and try to open them, you won't never be able to walk in them. And I've never been one to not try to at least open the door.
Right.
So
that's right.
And I fight extremely hard for my artists or people who depend on me, because I feel like I'm an extension of you, man. This is your lifelong dream, and I feel so good to be involved with your dream now as you've matured as a man.
Yeah, and it's different now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Back then, I was a little kid. Kerry was the guy who was just trying to just tell us or teaching us how to do the industry thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now it's a little different because we've both had life experiences. Yes. And so now we can kind of lean on each other. When we talk to each other now, it's like a big brother, little brother, but it's more of a mature conversation. Yes, exactly. Versus, me just saying, "Okay, Kerry."
Yeah, it's almost like I'm the baby now. I just turned 6 in. Cedric gonna ask me, "You all right? You need something?" No, man, wait a minute now. Whoa, Cedric.
Well, it's normally him that used to ask me that.
You are. So he kind of coming to me like, "Am I okay? And what can I do for you?"
That's
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
"Oh, come on now."
That's right, man.
But it's a blessing to have people in your life that love you and that you love.
That's right.
And people that can encourage you and be there and be a part of you. And man, I'm just so excited to be able to do that. I tell you what, talking about all these great blessings.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear you sing your hit single.
Yes, sir.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
On Up Close and in Focus with my man, my boy, my homie, Cedric Ballard. Wow, we're here with the one and only, my personal friend, Cedric Ballard, and he's going to perform off of his EP called The Journey. He's going to perform a song called Keep On Blessing Me. But let me tell you this right now. You got to like, subscribe, and share right here on Up Close and in Focus. Give it up for my friend, my personal friend, Cedric Ballard.
Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. I remember when my heart was torn apart, but then you came along and helped me to restart. The many times I've endured so much pain, but just one touch from you took away the strain. You're blessing me over again. 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 Oh, you're blessing me over again. Every day, every hour, you're blessing me over again. Over again. Over again.
We're back up close and in focus with Cedric Ballard. Hey, look, I want you to tell the people, Cedric, on your social medias, how they can reach you, how they can get connected with the Heal movement and all of that great stuff.
You can go to cedricballard.com in order to get all Cedric Ballard content, videos, the record that's available now. It has an actual link where it will send you to all the actual platforms, the digital platforms, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora. Anywhere you can download records and download music, you can go there and you can get the record today.
Right now.
Please go and get it. Okay, so that's cedricballard.com for all that. You can keep up with my calendar, keep up with what city I'll be in. Make sure that if, in fact, you want me to come to an event or anything like that, you can book me in that place right there, cedricballard.com. Of course, I'm on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Cedric Ballard. And then, of course, for the Heal movement, which now you can get content, you can get apparel and all that kind of stuff at healusnow.org. You can go now and get it. And you can know when we're going to go out into the community, or you can learn how to donate to that actual Heal movement. I'm telling you, man, it's a worthwhile cause. You're going to want to do that because you're making the difference and the change in individuals around the world.
Well, and Cedric, I want you guys to support the movement. If y'all go online and support the movement, because he's out here doing what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Everybody's supposed to be doing it. That's what the whole Christianity, that's the whole the love movement. We're supposed to go out and we are our brother keepers. Right. We are our brother's keepers. That's and some people are less fortunate than us. That's right. And we're strong and we have the ability to do some things that we can help implement some things in other people's lives. Man, this has been a great show. I need you to come back, Cedric. Matter of fact, shoot, bro, I might let you take over the show for some time. I'm just kicking it off. I got a lot going on, so I know you're gonna be my backup, man. Right here at Up Close and in Focus. So whenever I call you, you're gonna be here to help out with the interviews and stuff. But definitely go and stream the new single. Sing me a little of that one more time, man. That just hit.
You're blessing me over again. You're blessing me over again. You're blessing me over again. You're blessing me over over again. Yeah.
And he's blessing you over and over again. And let's just give him all the praise and all the glory. I want to thank y'all for stopping by and checking us out on Up Close and in Focus with Cedric Ballard and myself, Kerry Douglas. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Up Close and in Focus. Remember to take action, embrace your passions, and never give up on your dreams. Kerry Douglas will see you at the top because it's crowded at the bottom.